Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to series number 4 of Mental Health Mondays. Today is a beautiful day. As you can see, we are out in nature, guys. Just so how important I take mental health. It's important to always have the sun on your skin, the wind in your hair. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. So today, guys, I'm here with my research material. Don't judge me. Don't come after me in the comment section. I told you I'm no expert, but I'm here to do the best that I can. So as usual, I'm here with my book, with my pen, and my laptop, guys. Um, Please, if you are new to the channel, please welcome. I would like to advise you to watch the first, the second, and the third series so that you're not left behind. But if you are already here, if you are an existing member of the family, just want to thank you again for the support. I love you guys. So let's jump straight into it. Today, guys, I'm going to be speaking about psychosis and schizophrenia. Yeah, these names, I think I should get a medical doctor degree because wow. So, a lot of people think that these things are the same, but I'm just gonna give you a brief background of why these things are different. So, psychosis is losing touch with reality, and then schizophrenia is a type of psychotic disorder. So, it's not the same thing, but it falls under the same umbrella, if I should say that. So, here to explain further, psychosis, it is an abnormal condition of the mind that results in difficulties determining what is real and what is not real. So today, in my research, I just went through the differences of psychosis and schizophrenia so that people out there can really know what's the difference between these things. They might look the same. Sometimes the symptoms may be slightly closer to being the same. Some people might confuse them. But I'm here to give you the education, guys, of why they're different and how they're different. So let's get into it. Let's start reading, guys. So it says here, while the terms are sometimes used interchangeably, psychosis and schizophrenia are not the same. Psychosis is a symptom defined as losing touch with reality, while schizophrenia is a disorder that can cause psychosis. So as you can see here, schizophrenia then leads to psychosis. So it's a different thing. It starts there, so it's like a minor thing leading to another major thing, as we can see. So, individuals who have schizophrenia experience symptoms of psychosis along with other symptoms. However, not all individuals experiencing psychosis have schizophrenia. So, my understanding of this is that some people may have a minor one, may start from schizophrenia and then move forward to psychosis, but some people may just jump that whole level to psychosis, guys. People are going through the most out there. So, what is psychosis? Psychosis describes a loss of contact with reality. A period of psychosis is called psychotic um, episode. A psychotic episode can occur on its own or may be associated with certain prescription medications, including sedatives and stimulants. Okay, let me really get into this, guys. Not to go against people who use certain sedatives and stimulants, but I'm just gonna give a few examples. Some people use supplementaries for the gym, and it's not bad. But my advice for that is that you do not use a lot of them because it then causes this psychosis episode or this psychosis behavior, whereby you cannot really tell the difference between what is real and what is not, because these supplementaries are helping you to enhance your activity, right? So it's not really medically advisable for people to take them constantly, but really advise they're good. People should take them. I'm not discouraging them, but I feel like people should not take them constantly. I mean, like water, guys. Some of you guys are drinking these things 3 times a day, like a whole meal. Guys, please let's stop that. Okay. Um, it can also be associated with medical conditions such as dementia, HIV, Parkinson disease, brain tumor, or stroke. These are high level diseases, guys. These are not small things. Mental disorders such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or delusional disorder. Also, it can be associated with sleep deprivation and substance abuse such as alcohol or cocaine. Psychosis can be limited to one episode. However, it is possible to have recurring episodes as part of certain conditions. So, I once had a series of wasn't really a lot. Okay, I think it's because I'd taken what do you call this bioplus for me not to sleep. But I remember my body went through a shutdown that I couldn't sleep. I mean, it's small things like that that can end up leading to psychotic disorders or psychotic episode. So for my students out there, we know you're studying and we know it's hard sometimes to be like, okay, you wanna put everything into one basket and you wanna study a week or 2 days before the exam, but it's really not advisable to take Bioplus continuously because my body went through a shutdown. I couldn't sleep for like 2 days. So things like that can damage your mind because at the end of the day, your mind is the computer of the body. So it's the one that regulates what happens in the body. So if the body is malfunctioning, it means that the mind is also malfunctioning. So guys, we should really, really, really try by all means to use these things. Yes, they're good for us. Yes, they're good for our studies, but to not use them in excess. Moving on to schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a mental health disorder that impacts thought processes, emotions, and behavior. It can involve psychotic symptoms or losing touch with reality. It could also include cognitive issues such as trouble processing information or loss of motivation that makes it difficult to do everyday activities. Okay, I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again, guys. I'm a person who goes to the gym. So I've made it my daily routine, except for the weekends because it doesn't matter on the weekends. But I've made it my daily routine to always go to the gym. So now, with a person who has schizophrenia, it affects the daily activities. Like now, you are lagging behind going to the gym. You don't feel motivated. You don't feel like you wanna, get that summer body anymore. So it's really, I don't even know how to do this. These mental health issues, I've seen one thing, they are connected. So these things may be leading from depression and then goes on into stress, it then leads to psychotic behaviors and then leads to suspend. And next thing you know, you're sleeping in a psychiatric ward. Guys, I mean, let's help each other out there. We want all of us to be outdoors enjoying the sun. So we don't want to end up in the psychiatric ward, right? Right. Continuing. Schizophrenia occurs in stages. Wow, I didn't even know this. Guys, research is good. Prodrominal phase. That's the first phase. And during this phase, which can last from weeks to years. 2 years, guys. I hope you listen. Symptoms develop gradually and typically involve loss of interest in activities, social withdrawal, or difficulty concentrating. Intense fixation with ideas or subjects can also develop. Right? The second phase is the active phase. This is known as the acute stage of schizophrenia and is when psychotic symptoms occur. Symptoms can develop gradually after a prodromal phase or appear suddenly. So in this case, you can jump the prodromal phase and go straight to the active phase. That's when you know that your disorder, I call it a disorder. Okay, let's just call it by saying the stage of schizophrenia is quite high than any other normal stage. The third one is residual phase. During this period, symptoms have reduced, but the individual may feel withdrawn and have difficulty focusing. Let me again say that the brain is the computer of the body. So once you get something like this that affects the brain, it means it affects your body. Like I said, you don't do your activities well anymore. You're not motivated. You feel sad. You feel lazy. Always sleeping, or not getting sleep at all. But you're just always sitting around. You don't feel motivated to do the things that you did before. So let's know, guys, that mental health issues go beyond just being stressed or depressed and not being able to do things. It goes beyond that. It affects daily activities. It affects who we are, even our own identity sometimes. I remember when I went through, I think I've told you guys before that I went through a process of depression. I actually saw when I came out of it that I was actually quite depressed. I didn't know who I was anymore. By that I mean I'd lost my identity. Like I used to question myself, am I beautiful enough? Am I even enough to be in this world? Who am I really? So at the end of the day, you end up doubting yourself and doubting your abilities, which is not something that we want, guys. We want beautiful ladies to shine, we want beautiful men to shine, and we just wanna make the world a better place, man. Okay. Let's move on to the symptoms of psychosis and then as schizophrenia. Symptoms associated with psychosis include agitation. This describes an excessive physical movement or verbal activity. Symptoms of agitation can also include emotional distress, restlessness, or pacing. pacing, right? Walking around uncontrollably, like, yeah, but like, my guy, sit down. I once had a family member was like that. This guy was constantly stressed, guys. I'm thinking about it now. I think he actually had schizophrenia. This guy used to pace around a lot, especially when he gets into a stressful situation. He starts walking around the whole house, and you're like, what's going on? This guy has gone from here to Cape Town just walking. So, guys, you can see that some of these things are quite funny, but you see that it's small things that lead to a bigger issue. Delusions. Guys, delusions. This is really a lot. Delusions are false beliefs that are not based on reality. A person experiencing delusions will not change their behavior even when given evidence that the belief is false. An example may be believing a famous person is in love with them despite never meeting. Guys, I know this one. I know this one. I saw a movie of this girl was obsessed with some movie star. And guys, she deeply believed that this guy loved her. Like, she put his posters all over the room, and she believed that he was the soulmate. And all the parents would try to be like, but this guy doesn't even know you. No, he was sent from God. I know he is the one from me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it happens to a lot of us, especially in relationships. Sometimes a person may be toxic, and you don't wanna believe what's right in front of you. Your friends can come and be like, but this is a red flag. Can't you see that this guy went out this person? Like, no, he loves me. No, he will move mountains for me. Who will move mountains for you? Guys, let's stop living in delusional worlds. Let's come back to reality, especially when it comes to relationships. I've seen that delusion works a lot there. You're trying to excuse people's behaviors. No, he loves me. He loves me so much. Woo, God loves you so much. Please, guys, let's stop behaving like this. That's why heartbreak will nisa you heart because you feel like he loves you and he doesn't. But guys, please, I know it has happened to the most of us, it happened to the best of us. But let's try to leave the delusional world and come back to reality. Okay, the next one here is disorganized thinking behavior. Okay, disorganized symptoms of psychosis describe jumbled or difficult to understand speech, writing, or thinking. Okay, this one is also linked. It's also another symptom of schizophrenia. That's how you see that although they're not the same, they're also interlinked because some of the symptoms are connected to each other. So this can make it difficult for someone to communicate with others and keep their thoughts straight, right? Hallucinations, these describe when an individual senses things that aren't real. They can include hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and feeling things that feel real but are not. Guys, do you understand the depth of this? Do you understand that there are some people who are feeling like someone is touching them when they are not? Do you understand how deep it is? When people end up in psychiatric wards, guys, it's deep because you're like, someone is touching me, and there's no one who's touching you. And it goes deeper, guys, that sometimes we ignore these things. We're saying, I heard someone calling me 5 times. It happens to us sometimes to normal human beings. You can hear that someone has called you, but it won't be someone calling you. It's normal. But then when you see it, or like a day, 10 times a day, you keep hearing someone calling you. First of all, you have to check. Maybe it's God, because we know from the Bible that God used to speak, and sometimes people would not understand. But let's come back to the other biggest reality as human beings. Let's just check on each other. Maybe a person is going through the most and they keep saying, I feel someone who's touching me, I feel someone who's calling me, I smell an odd smell. And it's like, this person is crazy. It's just like, nah, it's nothing. Let's check up on each other. Okay. Early warnings of psychosis include difficulty in focusing, decline in overall hygiene, inappropriate or lack of emotional response, withdrawing from others. So you see, one thing I've noticed also about these mental health disorders, they include mostly a introvert behavior. Like most people will end up excluding themselves from activities from others. And then schizophrenia. To receive a diagnosis of schizophrenia, you must have 2 symptoms more often than not during 1 month. Wait, what? To receive a diagnosis of schizophrenia, you must have 2 symptoms, okay, more often than not during 1 month. Oh, okay. These symptoms include delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, disorganized or catatonic behavior, which describes restlessness, lack of movement, and or erratic movement, Negative symptoms such as minimal or no emotional expression and lack of motivation. So here it's saying that these usually occur in a month, like 2 times in a month. You should then check. Excuse me, you should then go and check if maybe you've got a problem or not. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to this point and then I'll move on to the treatment. So, psychotic symptoms can manifest in individuals with schizophrenia as paranoia, like the belief that they are being spied on or being controlled by outside forces, a belief that others can read their thoughts, which is very impossible, guys. People cannot read their thoughts. Believing that ordinary events hold special meaning, especially to them, like like a person is sending them messages through the television. Hey, guys, delusions of grandeur, such as believing they are of great importance, are very powerful, or have special powers. This is also kind of linked with pride. So sometimes, if you are very prideful, you put yourself on a high pedestal. Check yourself, because you might be suffering from a mental disorder. It's not wrong to have pride, but sometimes you see, hey, this one is too much, and difficult in planning. So treatment for psychosis, early treatment for psychosis is important for the best possible recovery. Treatments often involve both antipsychotic and medications and psychotherapy. Antipsychotics may work by blocking the effects of overacting or of a chemical brain called dopamine, which impacts emotions, planning, and memory. This overreacting is thought to contribute to the cause of psychotic symptoms. Okay, in schizophrenia, treatments of schizophrenia will also likely include both medication and psychotherapy. Common ones, which are both linked to schizophrenia and psychosis, include antipsychotic drugs, which are medications to treat psychosis, including hallucinations and delusions. There are psychosocial treatments, which are, for example, therapy. There are coordinated special care, where people are put in programs so that they can be able to work together to conquer this. And there's also drug and alcohol treatment, which drug and alcohol abuse issues are often reduced and dealt with in a more fashionable way. So, guys, that was it from me to you. Just remember one thing: I love you so much. The reason why I started this mental health series, like I always say, is that I just love people, and I just love to see people prospering and not having to have their back on their shoulder every time, worrying about being depressed or worrying about having these different mental issues. So, guys, if you know anyone who might have these symptoms, or if you think that you might have these symptoms, I would advise early treatment to go to the doctors, because you never know what might be happening. But that was it from me to you guys. Stay healthy, stay shining, please stay in the sun. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, like, share, and help each other out there. Bye.